Now let's learn something regarding input output in Rust. For that I create mutable empty string using strings new function. IO is a standard input library in Rust. When I type IO, the IDE shows its related library to use it. After IO::, you can press Ctrl space to get IntelliSense to display associated functions of IO package, or you can type the required function name after : the IDE will show the relevant functions. You can choose one of it. Here I choose stdin function, then I put dot to get its methods list and choose a readline method. It requires two parameters. Number one is self. This will given by a caller and it is implicitly taken. And second is mutable string. Already we create a mutable string variable input, so I give its reference. It shows error because it requires mutable reference, but we give immutable reference, so just add mute keyword after ampersand symbol. Still it show warning as unused result because readline method returns result. We have to use it or handle it. Now I assign result of readline method to variable x. The result is either unsigned size or error. The usize is the length of bytes read. Let's go to the definition of result. Result is an enum. It has two variants, OK and error. OK contains success value. Error contains error value. We can handle result using Rust's powerful pattern matching mechanism, or we can get result by omitting the error and unwrapping the result box to get the success variant. Then print the length of bytes read and input. Now run the project and I give hi as input. It shows bytes read is 5, but the given input is hi, its length is 3. This is because of after typing hi, I press enter. The enter key adds carriage return and a new line character with the input. Now let's try with match statement. Here match statement gets input from result of readline method and produce two arms, OK and error. Within OK we can get success result and use it in the place of result, and then second arm is error, print that also. Now run, we get the same output. Let's revert it and try with another type expect method. The expect method extracts success result and prints message if any error occurs. Let's print the result and run the project. We again get the same output. To demonstrate expect method, let me try with another way. In some server project, it needs a listen port for request response. For that, some environment variables will be created with port values. While running that server, it gets a listen port from environment variable. std::env::var. This function reads a key from environment variable. It returns a result. The result has defined port as a success variant or shows error if port is not defined. Let us use expect method here. The key is listen port in capital letter and print the listen port. Now run the project. The program panicked and shows error message as listen port not set, which we set in expect method. This is because still we are not defined environment variable listen port. Let's set environment variable listen port to 5000 and now run the project again. Now it shows success result and prints it. I closed this terminal to invalidate environment variables and I open new terminal. In this terminal, environment variable listen port is not set. Let me go furthermore. For that, I add one more print line statement with text still server running. Once again check it by run the project. It shows error. Now I set environment variable listen port equal to 8080 and run the project. It prints success result. From this we came to know that expect method stops the program if any error and continues the program on success result. Let me demonstrate this with pattern matching. For that, I removed expect and apply match syntax. Now run the project in this terminal. We already defined environment variables, so it prints success result and continues with the next line server running. Let me close the terminal to invalidate environment variable and run the project again. Now it prints error and the program not stopped on error. It still continues with the next line still server running. So we came to know that we handled error using match statement. Here we reads input using stdin and now let's write it using stdout. Let us run the project. I entered some text and using stdout it is written on the terminal. Now let's repeat this section. Reading input and writing it on terminal. For that I use while loop for the infinite loop. Clippy suggests that use loop statement instead of while true. Let's change it. Here variable x and y are not used after its definition. So compiler gives warning. You can remove warning by adding underscore as a prefix. While running the project, carefully watch the terminal. After receiving second input, it writes two lines, that is the first input and the second input. Because input is a buffer, we have to clear it using input.clear. Now run the project as it's working clear. Okay, now let's learn something regarding parsing input. For that I clear this screen, and after that we will learn something about formatting long line using rustfmt. After reading input on variable guess, the user maybe give some space in the beginning or end of input. So we have to remove the spaces using trim method. And after that, one thing we have to do. All inputs are string, so we have to convert the string into number. For that, use parse method and then use expect method. Here we have to explicitly say the data type to parse method. We will see parse in detail in the later session. Now run the project as string input is converted into number as expected. This is another way to explicitly specify data type for parse method. If we give an alphabet instead of number, the error message printed on terminal by expect method. As we know, all inputs are string, so we have to trim the input and convert it to number using parse method. We already learned about parse method in chapter 2 prelims section and printed it. Here I want to show one thing, formatting long lines using rustfmt.toml file. Here line 8 and 10 looks like a long line, so we convert these lines into multi-line using the rustfmt formatting. For that, create a file rustfmt.toml. Within that, set max width equal to 100 and save it. Then go to main.rs and save it. See, line 8 is formatted as a multi-line. The next long line's width is less than 100, so it is not formatted. Let's reduce the size for max width to 60. And once again save the main.rs by pressing Ctrl S. Now all long lines are formatted. Now run the project and verify it. It works perfect if our input is number. It shows error message if our input is not a number.